Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I am your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, at your service and your families. And today, I would like to give my opinions and thoughts on the new deed log. No, this is not a guide. I've done guides in the past, and the reason I'm not doing a guide quite yet, at the time of me putting this video out, is because the deed log is not entirely finished. You may have heard there's some glitches, and occasionally clients crash because the deed is completed. They've already done one fix. It made a big difference. Most people stopped. There's one other thing they're working on, so maybe when you're watching this video, it had already been fixed. I'm sure it's pretty close at least. So we're going to talk about it today, and I'm going to bring it up here right now. Okay, so whoop. So this is the new deed log. Now, I want to talk about the pros and the cons and what I think could be added or improved on. And this is totally, I want to be very positive about this and covering this, because everyone has different opinions on it. I've heard a lot of different. I've heard people who love the new deed log. I've heard people who hate it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to like pass judgment, all right? I'm here to give some constructive thoughts on this particular deed log, okay? And compared to the old one, all right? So the first thing I do like about this deed log is it is scaled up, right? It's scaled up. It's a lot larger. It's like, obviously I'm recording this video in 2K. It's a lot bigger than the previous one. It's much easier to read stuff. Now, I like that the visual fidelity of the actual like paper being around the edge. I think it could be worked on a little bit so it doesn't have like just the black edge going around, but I like that the paper looks very real. Like the pixels are very nice how that looks. Now, here's what I would recommend on some things about it. I like the left side of how simplistic it is. I understand that having tabs go around the bottom in the old version, okay, was a little bit challenging, especially for newer players. And I 100% get that, and I think it's a very valid reason to change it. Another thing was the text was really, really small in the previous version. So if we look here, we go ahead and click on, let's say, Elraandor, and let's click on, let's say, Breland. Okay, we bring up this side over here and you got the different things. Now the first thing I notice is, as much as this is very clean and organized and a good little drop down with everything, the positive is the color scheme for the actual buttons looks nice, but the words inside the colored squares, for one, the squares look a little unfinished compared to like the original that kind of had a very like ancient book feel. It looks kind of like that it was just pasted on top of this, and you know, I understand there's certain limitations to things. I don't want to be like mean about things, but that's one thing. But the next thing that is probably a constructive criticism is that the words themselves, even though much larger than the original, they are the same exact color as the background, which has no differences. That is the same thing over here too. It's not as bad on the left side because of how dark the blue is, so you can really see the word real easily. But the fact that the color of the word is identical to the backdrop makes it very hard to read, at least for me. Okay, so if you disagree, that's just fine. But I'm just pointing out that I think that they maybe work on either the text, the font, or the color scheme within the colored boxes of the words. That's a constructive criticism, okay? One thing I do like, again, is that the words like up here look real clean, and Breland looks real clean, and again, how large it is and all that kind of stuff, okay? The next thing, when you click these little opening things, these fonts and text, much cleaner, too tiny, okay? So I'd recommend, since they have a lot of page here, to blow these up like ×2. If they can make it where obviously they still look clean and crisp as words. I do like that they're black on the backdrop. They look very nice because of that. It's a very nice contrast. It's very easy to see. I've heard some people comment that it's too bright. Like just in general, it's very bright compared to the original one. Okay? I think that's a good criticism as well. It'd be cool if they had like two different, like a dark and light mode, but that might be too much to ask for. We mainly want it to look where it's easy to read, okay? Because you could always turn the brightness up or down of your screen, obviously. All right, so just keep that in mind. So again, that's something, it just seems a little small. Like, so the font seems small, even the little stamps seem a little bit small. And like the reward stuff is here. Another constructive criticism, which, okay, I want to be very clear on this. The devs may be planning this already. I may be putting out some of these constructive criticisms, and this was on their list to do, because I know they really want to work on the UI in this game. It scales up decently with 2K, but it really struggles when you get to a 4K monitor. Things get real blurry when you blow them up. So the fact that they may plan to do more with the deed log already anyway. And this was just a basically first step. Another thing to think about is the fact that they have the is the lore. All right, that's a big one. It's the lore. It used to be a lot of these different deeds would give you lore. All right, when you clicked on them and read them. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. When you read them, basically that was really nice. That really added. And we all know that LOTRO really respects the lore of Middle Earth, and they're really good. So I'd love it if they would bring that lore back over, whether that be adding another tab that you click inside the deed to bring up a whole book page of lore. Maybe they already planned to do that. Awesome. All right. Next thing that I would like to talk about is the art. This art piece is gorgeous down here in the bottom. But if you notice, when I click on things, that art piece never changes, okay? Back in the original version of the deed log, there was a special picture for every single region and every single type of thing with like deeds or with hobbies, and you can say a little fishing pole and things like that, blah, blah, blah. All right, instances would change depending on which instance. I really think that that would be nice if they did the work to put those back, because visually that was something that really was like, oh, cool. You can kind of see the location. Even as a new player or a longtime player, it was cool to be able to see that. I thought it was a very good visual representation that, you know, it takes away from the feeling of it being this special book that you're using in roleplay to go through Middle Earth, right? This seems to me in general, the new deed log, more like a video game MMO. Here is your information on when you do your deeds, right? Which again, it has to be practical. I understand that to a fault, right? Like, the game has to function and be a practical deed log that makes it easy for people to find things. I completely think that's a valid point, but I don't think that means you have to completely rip out the soul of the original, of it being like a book with your tabs that you go through and all this different stuff, right? And it has lore and different pictures. When you click on, you know, if you click on Gondor, it would show a picture of Gondor. When you clicked on Rovani, it would show you a picture of Rovani. When you clicked on Moria, it'd show you a picture of Moria, right? That kind of stuff. I really thought that was really neat, and I appreciate they left a picture down here. Maybe they plan to do that. Maybe I'm getting way ahead of the devs. Maybe they're already planning on doing that. They got a lot on their plate right now. So if they do plan on doing that already, I apologize to the devs if that was already the plan, but I'm just giving my honest thoughts on the new deed log here. So overall, and again, with the font, as much as these are very easy to read, they kind of feel stuck, like completed, right? If you click completed, it shows what you've already completed with deeds, things like that. Also, it feels a little weird how it's so cut off. I know you have the scroll wheel to go up and down, but if you notice how it just kind of looks cut off right here, like you can clearly see it's inside a lined box. See the little edge up here for that one deed? See it? You see what I'm talking about? It just feels a little incomplete, and also these pluses seem a little funny how they just act, all right, with how they do that. I just feel like that the new deed log it's got a positive direction, but it needs a lot more refinement, if that makes sense. And again, I am full on, you know, here to help support the game. It's a fantastic game. You guys know me. I'm very positive on this game, especially when it's positive changes happening. This is a positive change. The deed log needed to be updated, especially to be more helpful for newer players. But I feel like, again, a lot of the soul was ripped out from the original deed log. All right? So that's something that's just my thoughts on it. I don't know what you guys think on that. I personally feel that it would be nice if they allowed people to just use the original deed log still. To do stuff. Now, I will give you a little hint. It actually still is in the game if you press Shift L. No, there's a Control L. Aha, there it is, Control L. All right. Little side note: I really appreciated that they left that control in here, and you can kind of see how, again, the old deed log's really tiny stuff, but it does look like an ancient book. And you notice you got the little tabs, right? And you got the different pictures that show up, and there's different things and information and stuff like that as you go through. And again, you can see what I'm talking about. You got all the different little tabs, you got the different pictures, and you click on things change, right, as you go through. So, and again, it's too tiny. This is clearly too tiny. I personally think with the new one is what they should do is they should take a lot of what this is, all right, this original one, and they need to implement the art. Okay, so a lot of people really didn't like these yellow words on this yellowish background, which again, very hard to read when you're on a big screen. You can see it right here. It's extremely hard to read. The new one is clearly easier to read, right, as bigger. But we're still having the same problem with the font being a little small and the font look being the same color as the background again. That was the one thing that a lot of people disliked about this other one, right? Because you have these fonts in the backgrounds here, all right? And again, I appreciate it that the devs left this in here where you could do this one control to bring up the original. I please don't change that because I would be really sad if they did. I like having both versions, actually, to be able to bring up. This one will probably not be updated quite as much over time. That's the thing. So you're going to really want to be using the original deed log. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room real quick with people crashing when they open this new deed log. Or, sorry, not open it, when they complete a deed. I have not had that problem. Well, actually, you know what? I take it back. I had it once. But after the fix they did, I haven't had one since. But other people still have. I'm sure they will keep fixing that up. But again, I like how big this deed log is. I just think we need to take these two deed logs, take the spirit of this one, which is definitely there. Because again, even these beautiful tabs, okay, I know they're tiny, but look at it's these upside down shields, these upside down elven shields. They're gorgeous. I really wish they could somehow bring these in and like put them like, you know, put them right here or something, you know, like just like bring some color back into this one, but make it where it's still easy to read. So again, that's some of my constructive criticism. I'm sure they're still working on this anyway, but again, the font being so yellow over here on the yellowish background paper was too much. And I do like this old paper look better for when it comes to roleplay. It looks very ancient. But this one also looks fine, and it is lighter, so it's better. But having the same font color as the background makes it very hard to read still, even on top of the red and the blue. The blue, they're bigger, it's not as bad. These red ones, it's worse. This font, dark on white, looks great. This just needs to be blown up like ×4, right? So it's a lot not so tiny. Because have you noticed, when we compare these two, this font is larger than this font by like maybe 2 or 3, right? I like that this font is also bold. I really appreciate the bold. All right. So I would like it if they would maybe bolden this font a little bit, change it a little bit, and then leave it dark on white because that's just easier to read, and make it bigger, right? And again, they're gonna do something with the font inside the red, and you know the blue. It's okay. I still would rather the letters not be the same color as the background, which is again was a big complaint of the original. For many people, because again, I read the forums, I heard your comments, okay? You know, same thing. But again, I really loved, as much as these tabs were very confusing for new players, look at, see, you can even see the different dungeons here. Instances have different pictures and different cool symbols with the little icons. Look at, a little Isengard is in this one. There's a little mountainous one in this one. I really think if the dev team can reuse these assets, all right, these little tabs, not as tabs because that's confusing, but just stick them on, like, you know, when you click them, you know, you can like see these little things right here on the side, like maybe you could put them right there, right? Just reuse them because they're the same, right? So we got we got Eriador and we got Breeland. I mean, here's the Breeland shield with a little library of Bree. Just replace it right there, put it right there, and then leave this the same way you function. So just put it right there. I don't know. You guys think I'm right on this? What do you guys think? I just think this left one needs more color. I think it has a couple problems that the original had that people wanted to be fixed. I know what you guys are saying. You're like, well, Zollin, this is seeming a lot like all constructive criticism and no praise. Okay, there's some really good things about this left one, guys. All right, there is. It's much bigger. I like that the letters are bigger on this left side. You know, it's clearly better visual pixels font. I like the dark on the light because it's easier to read and things like that. I just think this one flows a little bit better, as in the soul of it looking like an ancient book. But if you notice, this original one has these stupid black bars, so it also looks awful in that way. But again, I love that there's the lore in this one all over. Some of these pictures, by the way, and the lore have been removed from this deed log. even if you open it with the Control L, because this deed log is still connected because this is the new one where it has the updated info. So a lot of the original lore that were on some of these pages when you clicked is not there anyway, and these pictures actually have been slightly adjusted. Some of them I noticed, like the race one is different than it used to be. It's like too big. So I have a sneaking suspicion that they are going to move some of these pictures to this one in the future. That was already the plan. So again, I have great faith in the devs. I greatly appreciate this one. I'm just gonna outright say it, guys. Showing you this, that you can open this with Control L. I really hope that doesn't cause it to be removed by the devs, because I would be a little bit sad and feel like that's my fault. But I think they should just leave this in the game if it's connected in a way where when they update this one gets updated automatically. But no matter what, I kind of like this old tab. The old engine sometimes has to leave certain things in for older players anyway. Like the old legendary item track reward. It's still there for older players who get on later in the future. But I appreciate this is still here. I like to be able to see the comparisons, but clearly the one on the left is better for a larger monitor and better updates. But again, I would say reuse these assets of these tab icons with the pictures inside. I think they're awesome. If they could reuse these images and just slap them on over here when you click on different things in this spot, awesome, right? It's similar to the old one. Cool. And again, we have the tabs up here still. I still think the condensedness of this one over here, I just like how the tabs work and stuff. Yeah, okay, all right. Let's be real, guys. It's because I've been using it for 17 years. I'm sure I have nostalgia, so I don't want to be one-sided here on that. But again, I thought it was cool having these tabs go all through and kind of like showing up when you click on them. So I think they just reuse these on the side over here. I think that would be great if they did that. Yeah, I think the new deed log overall, bring the lore back, reuse some of the assets with these cool things and stuff, slap some more color on it maybe, and then just maybe a little different font and make sure these fonts aren't the same color as the background and these fonts are larger, or maybe a different font or just larger. You know, that kind of thing. I think that would help out a lot. That's my personal thoughts on this. What do you guys think in the comments? I think the devs are working very hard. I see potential in this new deed log, absolutely, but I still really like this old one too. And again, to the devs, please leave this one where I can do it with Control L. I like it. I like looking at it. It's nostalgic for me. It's my own, my precious. Oh, sorry. I don't know what came over me. All right. Anyway, guys, have a great day in Middle Earth. I'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. You guys let me know again in the comments what you guys think. And I'm at your service and your families. Thank you to my wonderful Patreons for their support. Red for being a Royal Guardian. And also Elraandor, who is also a Royal Guardian. I just haven't updated that when I was making this video. So, yeah. You guys, leave your comments. What do you like about the new deed log? What do you not like? Don't rag on the whole it crashes you when you finish a deed. I get it, okay? They know that. They're going to fix that. It'll probably be fixed in the next week or two after this video is out anyway. But I'm talking about when it comes to the cosmetic style, right? The soul, because I think this one on the right, trying to be objective and not nostalgic because I've been using it forever, I think this one has more soul with the color scheme, with the tabs, how they look with the pictures, with the lore, that kind of stuff. This one on the left, I think, is more practical layout, larger, better to read, that kind of stuff. Though I still would argue that I think the font being the same color as the background is kind of the same issue of this yellowish font being a similar color to the dark background here. I think this one's clearly easier to read because it's larger, but I still think maybe that would be good. I would recommend with these two, again, be scaled. Black on white is great, but maybe a slightly different font or scaling or bolden it, because I will say the bold look of these I like better, even though the yellow isn't great. I also like this filter here on the left. I know the filter is all set up here, but the filter up here to me feels a little bit more clunky than this filter, even though it is kind of the same thing if you look. Completed, though I don't see set rewards. See, because this one you can click set rewards and you can see ahead right here what you'll get. Rewards, they took that out of this one. I personally think sometimes people will say, you know, less is more. In this case, with organization and filtering through massive amounts of deeds, I think more is better. So I think having set rewards back would be a good addition to here. Unless I'm missing it. I may be missing it. Let me look if there's any other. Maybe I'm just clicked on the wrong thing. I do not see that. No. You can still add it to your tracker. That's all the same. Yeah. So again, I think they're going to do more, and I think they're adding more to the assets. But again, have a great and wonderful day in Middle-earth, my friends, and I'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. I'm going on and on too much. These are all my thoughts. I just wanted to talk to you guys about it. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.